Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Motorcyclist and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be replacing the AC compressor on a 2001 Jeep Grand Cherokee. As you can see, this is the famous inline 6 4.0. Yes sir, you know what it is. Now, one thing you guys need to know first is you need to get your system evacuated properly. You can't release this stuff into the air. Both your ports are right here and right there. So before you even think about doing this job, go ahead and get that evacuated, and let's get set up here and I'll show you exactly what needs to be done step by step. So what we need to do is make room so we can access the compressor. So let's go ahead and remove this, which I don't think is 100% necessary, but trust me, you're gonna want the extra room. And then let's go ahead and remove the airbox assembly. Real quick, in case you don't know how, there's a 10mm bolt right there. And then you need to remove that flathead right there, and then you just pull it up with some force. I kind of have my airbox loosely in there because I'm always taking it out, so maybe that's something you might want to consider, is just kind of leaving it loose in there so you can always access it. Next, I'm removing my fan shroud. Now I kind of did the same thing with this. These tabs are also on the bottom of this, but what I did was I cut the bottom tabs off because they are wicked hard to get to. And look how this thing is stable without the bottom two on each side. I only have the top two. So all it is 10mm bolts. So if you end up getting those out, just go ahead and cut the whole tab off, so that way you don't ever have to deal with it, and all you need is just 2 bolts to remove it. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way. All right, there she goes. Now look at that, all that space, all that access. Now you need to get you a 1/2" ratchet, and what we're going to do is just pull up on this, or push down like that, and then we should be able to just pull it off. Bada bing, bada boom. Love it. So if you need the part number or anything like that, I bought this Denso AC compressor on eBay. There's the tag right there. Comes with the manifold, and let's see. There we go. There's some part numbers if you want it. I would definitely recommend going OEM. Good stuff. Comes with O-rings and everything you need. And further into the video, I'll share with you all the PAG oil and all that stuff you'll need to properly do this job. Right now, what I'm going to do to gain even more room is take these 3 1/2" bolts off. 1, 2, and 3 right there, and we're going to be able to just move the pump over so we can access the top of the compressor. So now let's go ahead and get this connection off the top of the compressor. As you can see, that red tab needs to be pushed over. Sometimes you can get it with a screwdriver, and then that back piece just needs to be pushed and it'll come right off. So the plan from here is to get the compressor bolts loose first, because you don't want to have these open for an extended period of time, so we want to do these last. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave those 2 in place, and then we're going to go for that bolt there. That's a 9/16, and then that bolt right there is a 15. That's what I got to fit on them, at least. So let's go ahead and get those 2 bolts loose first. Right, and just in case you need the angles, that's how I got it. This one here, I have like a 2 or 3 inch extension, I think a 3, and I'm able to get that one. And then this one here, what I did was I just used the socket, and then I got a shorter ratchet, and I just kind of worked in here. And the last bolt is right there, and that's going to be a 15mm. Let's go ahead and get that sucker loose. All right, and that's what the last bolt looks like right there. Okay, next, go ahead, get you a 10 millimeter, and let's get these suckers off right here. Now, I would say only take these off if you're ready to swap the compressor in. So there's a couple of differences if you have a 2001 or 99 through 2001 and then a 2002 through 2004. I'm reading that the earlier ones want PAG 100 and the later ones want PAG 46. But let me show you this compressor here. So this compressor specifically on it says ND8 oil, which is PAG 46, and everywhere I've looked is saying that my Jeep, which is an 01, takes PAG 100. So I'm kind of confused right now, so I'm gonna have to do some research and figure it out. But I would say as far as the specs and the oil, you know, you should probably consult with your technician first, or whoever's going to be doing the charge, because, you know, I'm sure they'll have your best interests at heart. But anyways, let's get these suckers off and then we'll get to pulling the compressor out. Now, if you have this style here, that dryer, I would highly suggest to plug that hole up, because if you leave this exposed to the open air, that will go bad. So just go ahead and plug that sucker up like so, and kind of just set her to the side for now. So what I had to do to get this thing loose, well, at first I thought I was going to have to move that bolt and move this bracket back, but if your compressor's been in there a long time, you're just going to have to work it. So you got to put one hand here, and you're going to have to work it from side to side and back and forth. And it may take a couple minutes, but as you can see, I worked mine free, and now I'm just going to be able to snake it out. And just another quick suggestion, be very careful when you're coming out, because you don't want to poke your radiator. So I won't be recording me taking it out because I'm trying to be careful, but just make sure you're, you know, come out with both hands and do not touch this. All right, let's get this sucker out of here. All right, there she is. Now, let me just share a little something with you. So my compressor did not go bad yet, but it was starting to worry me because I could hear this weird kind of screeching, not screeching, but like tweeting sound. And one day I blew some compressed air down in this area and a bunch of red dust like kind of flew out. I don't know if you can see in there, but there's quite a bit of dust. So it kind of freaked me out because I replaced most of all my AC components, you know, down to the dash and everything. And I didn't want this to basically, you know, the clutch to go bad or lock up, and then for my whole system to be compromised. So I kind of wanted to play it safe and get a new one, even though I didn't need to. And what I'll do is maybe I'll keep this one and rebuild it on my own, take my time. But anyways, let's look at something interesting here. So as I told you, the internet says this takes PAG 100, but as you can see, this says ND oil 8. So I don't know, it's weird. The internet's telling me to put PAG 100, but if I'm not mistaken, PAG 46 is ND8. So anyways, there's the compressor. Let's take a look in here. I'm also doing this line here, so because that has these connections on it. I've done this line and I haven't done this one, so that's why I wanted to do it, just to be on the safe side, and hopefully I won't have to worry about it for a while. But there's the space where it goes. There's the dryer. I have that plugged off. So anyways, let's get ready to put the new compressor in. Okay, so after a lot of research today, I found out that it seems like I should use obviously what the compressor recommends. So on this one it says ND8, which is PAG 46. So even though I look it up online and it says for 99 through 01 to use PAG 100, I guess the compressor uses PAG 46. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, what we're going to do here, which everyone should do, you guys can put however much you want in. My total capacity for my Jeep is 5.75 ounces. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to dump this oil out here and I'm going to measure how much we got. So follow along with me, and this is the same process you should follow. So drain the old stuff and then we'll make note of how much we have, and then we'll drain the new one, make note of how much we have, and then we'll go from there. Even though the compressor comes pre-filled, I would always recommend draining it and putting fresh new stuff in, even though it comes filled. Of the old compressor, about 1.5 ounces, maybe a little more. And that, ooh, look at that, it looks like orange. That's not good. So I'm gonna measure that. I'll end up taking a picture, and I'm gonna safely dispose of this. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour out the oil in the new compressor, and when we're done, we're gonna put in some fresh oil. This is what I have here. This is some pretty good quality stuff, I'd say. So if you need any recommendations, I do recommend using stuff with UV dye in case you ever have a leak. You can easily find it. And just a heads up, in case you didn't know, oil is going to come out of this smaller one here. All right, this is what I was able to get out of the new compressor. Just around 4 ounces, or just under. So just going to say there's probably a little bit left in there, so 4 ounces. So that's a pretty good mark. What I'll do is I'll go ahead, I'll put 4 ounces of new fresh oil in there, and then I'll put these plugs back on. And a little secret, take the compressor, set it down, like set this part down and have the S end up, and let the oil lubricate the front seal for like 2 minutes, and then we'll turn it over a couple times just to get oil around in the compressor, and then we'll go ahead and start installing it on the vehicle. Now that I got my PAG oil, I'm just going to let it sit upside down just to lubricate the front seal while I'm cleaning up my mess. Alright, quick suggestion, go ahead and get your new O-rings on. I got my new one on here, and then this one came with a new O-ring. Since I just replaced the whole line, it came with one, so I'm all set there. Alright, let's go ahead and snake this AC compressor right in through the front. I decided to remove the hose here just for some better access. Alright, now with more room, I can set this sucker in there super easily. Look at that. No problem. See, sometimes I'm just lazy, or I think some way is better, but I always end up surprising myself. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get this back retaining bolt in. Just like that, just so it'll stay in place. Very nice. And then maybe we should snake the bottom bolt here right through. Alright, so what I did for this bottom bolt is I got it in place, and then you'll just have to kind of jiggle the compressor and find those threads. So that one should be pretty easy. And then next we got to get the power steering bracket that goes over here. Right, and then we got this 15mm bolt right here, and then this bracket will go like that once we put the power steering motor back in place. So let's go ahead and get all these tightened up, and then we'll get to putting on our connections. Real quick, before you tighten up this back bolt here, what you're going to need to do is get it pretty tight to the point where you can move this with some force, but it'll stay still when you don't touch it. And then get these lined up here. Make sure your power steering bolts go in, because if you tighten this to a point and it's not in the right position, your power steering pump won't line up. So go ahead and do that, and then we're going to remove these because we still need the space. Once you've got this bolt here fully tightened, let's go ahead and plug this in. I put some dielectric grease on my plug, which is not 100% necessary, but it's just how I roll. And that goes on just like that. Make sure it clicks. Double check it by pushing it together, and then lock that sucker. Yes, sir. All right, let's go ahead and get our connections hooked up. So let's see here. This one goes back here. This one goes here. Now make sure your O-rings are lubed up. You definitely want to make sure of that. And then we got our new bolts here. So we just put these connections in, tighten these down until they're pretty snug, and then we're good. Okay, so this one here, I lubed it up. Push it in. This one here, I'll pull up my cap. So like I said, you don't want to leave the dryer basically exposed overnight, because it has these packs in it. I think they're called like the iridescent packs, something like that. Those packs absorb moisture, and obviously if you have them sitting out all night, they're gonna absorb max moisture, and then it'll be ruined. So, and you don't want that. It's kind of awkward positioning, so you'll just have to take your time and make sure nothing gets cross-threaded. And then once I get those down, I'll just take my ratchet and snug them down, and then that should be good. Hopefully no leaks. But once we hook up the AC machine, that'll tell us what's going on. Okay, there's that. That sucker's tight. And once we get these tightened up, let's go ahead and turn the compressor clutch around 10 times clockwise. We want to go ahead and, motion some of that PAG oil through the compressor and a little bit into the system. So just turn the clutch by hand roughly 10 times. That way you get some stuff cycled, and once you turn on the AC system, you're good to go. And let's go ahead and get our radiator hose back on. Now let's get this power steering pump back in. Remember, there's 1, 2, 3 bolts, 13mm. And in case you can't remember how it goes on, that's exactly what it looks like. Down at the crankshaft, goes around it, around this, under, over, boom, easy peasy. All right, with a double check, everything looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and get my shroud in and my fan, and then we should be good to charge it up. So that'll be the next step. One thing I would suggest, guys, if you finished your AC system and you haven't charged it yet, I would definitely make sure that you do not turn on your AC system. I wouldn't even turn on your defroster or anything, because the AC compressor could come on with that. So I'm headed in now. I'm going to get my AC vacuumed and charged, and then I'll let you know how it goes. But like I said, do not turn on your AC system until you get it all charged up. And then when you do get it charged up, it's usually best to turn it on and off like 8 to 10 times to burnish all of the, you know, the face of the compressor and the pulley, just to make sure all of the rust inhibitors and paint and all that stuff gets knocked off and everything just kind of wears and grooves in. So anyways, let's get this sucker charged up and then we'll see how she blows. Yes, sir. All right, so now I'm just seeing if this sucker will hold a vacuum. Got my gauges hooked up, and this is what I'm seeing here. So hopefully she holds, and then we'll get her charged up. All right, I'm charging her up with 24 ounces of R134A, and I went ahead, I injected the rest of the PAG oil through here, which was approximately 2 more ounces, and now it's just charging up. So in a second we'll start this baby up when it prompts to, and hopefully we get some ice cold AC. All right, end of charge. Close high and low valves on machine. Boom, boom. Now it wants me to start the engine. Equalize. Close this valve here. And now, let's go check the AC. Ooh. Yes, sir. All right. Let's crank this sucker up. See how she blows. All right, so she's blowing nice and cold. I'm just waiting for my E-fan to kick on, because these Jeeps are weird. They don't always kick on with the AC. And then I'm gonna hook up my clutch fan, and this thing is gonna be icing, but she's definitely good, definitely cold. Anyways, guys, I really hope this step-by-step video helped you. If it did, please consider subscribing, like this video, please comment, let me know what you think. I really appreciate all of you who watch my videos. It does help me, and it, you know, pushes me to just keep making more. So once again, thank you for watching. Hope y'all have a good one. Peace.